Call to order the Groveland Township regular board meeting for, what's today, it's 8th of April. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Okay, Laura, roll call.
Robert DePalma,
I'm here.
Janelle Keller,
Here?
Teresa
Please
Bills,
excused.
Jim Christopher,
I am here.
Gina Mazzarelli.
Here.
Okay. Everybody received a copy of the agenda, and if so, are there any questions or comments? It looked okay to me.
It's good to me.
Okay, so somebody make a motion to approve it as submitted then?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we're off to the races here. Next is the minutes from the March 11th meeting and the Township Fire Board meeting. I have one little question on the March 11th bill, or Township Board minutes on page 4, where the first item under B said we have 4 more years of guaranteed, talking about the gravel for the roads for 2024, of free gravel for 3 miles a year. It's actually, the way the contract I did was negotiated, it's at least 8 years, but if they end up mining the old Kurtz pit beyond 8 years, we get it for the years after that too. So I think that should be indicated here, that it's unless the mining on the site continues, in which case the free gravel continues. Other than that, I thought these minutes were fine.
Okay.
Okay, someone wanna make a motion on them?
I will move that we approve the March 11th, 2024 meeting minutes as presented.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Jim, okay, any questions or comments from the board? Okay, if not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, very good. Next is financials.
Fireboard.
Oh, I'm sorry, Firebird, that's right, we didn't do the Firebird minutes, I apologize. So everybody's got that, I didn't have any questions on Firebird, it looked okay to me. Somebody wanna make a motion on it?
I'll motion that they are approved as submitted.
Second by Gina, okay, any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, it's approved. Now, on to the financials. Budget amendments, anything in there, Janelle?
So this is pretty much where right now, without any changes from the auditor, things would sit at the end of the year. I mean, overall, the only area that was over, which actually I did a budget amendment last month, and it's still over. So even after the budget amendment, it was like by $500, but, or maybe 700.
The recap.
Yeah, it was wrong, no, what was it, it was, 1099s, repairs and maintenance, I think, for 1099s maybe? Let me find it here.
Yeah, we did both of them.
That's how, yes, we did too. So, I mean, other than that, really just if there are any questions,
The only thing that caught my eye when I went through this, and it's good news.
waste haulers,
Yeah, wow, the fee for the waste hauler licensing is like way up. Is that like 2 years and once or something? One shot, cause that's a
you know,
lot
did
of
you
money.
end up, did Angela explain that or no?
She did, she explained it was for the year and we just had multiple haulers and they're
Wow.
charged about $100.
This must be the best year that they've paid, because that's way more than we budgeted.
I think one company had like about 96
What was that?
trucks that went out.
I can't believe, yeah, well, that's super, okay, well, I'm happy. I'm glad
Yeah.
we did it by a licensed vehicle.
14,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we expected, just for anybody who's really excited about the waste haulers, about $2,500 in waste hauler fees, and we ended up with 16,000. So, and it could be maybe how what they
rounding error.
paid or, yeah,
That's why I
so,
said, sometimes it could be if one of them was late for last year and it got in
well, that,
this
yeah.
year, that's why I asked.
Yeah, and that may be the case, they may have paid earlier, I will tell you, she worked very diligently, like, to get that information out.
It almost looks like it's about 4 years of it though.
Where was I going? Oh, so overall, if you did look though at our revenues and expenditures there, we were over on revenues, which is great, and still, you know, pretty well under budget there, so
Everything looked good.
overall looked pretty good. Nothing really exciting. Again, same thing with fire, we were over on revenue by about 4% from what we anticipated, and then still, so far, and of course, these aren't the final numbers, because Ken will come in and tweak everything around and move it, if it's in the wrong location, but,
But actually,
Nothing,
yeah.
the tax base has gone up more than I would have anticipated typical for the last 2 years, because the inflation was so high, the headline number bumped up to 5%. That's a little bit, it's all good stuff.
it is good, and if you look at all of them on page 15 there, you'll see that overall revenues were still up about 10%, and expenditures were only about 81%. So that's where we are at there, and then, so no
No amendments?
at this point. Again, Ken's gonna go through and he'll tweak some around, just to put things, in other places, I'm sure. And then as far as the actual accounts payables, we can look at that real quick. There's nothing really on here. Did 206, my papers kinda got shuffled in the car. Did 206 come first for you guys?
Yes.
Okay, that's all right. I just wanted to see what we were looking at, make sure we were on the same page. Everything here is pretty standard. It looks like a Kevin, under Department 265, that was for the garage door, I think, right? Right, Chief? Hawkswell?
Yeah.
Okay. So that really is the only thing on this list, I think, that would look different than all the ordinary bills. So overall for fire was $12,280.20. Then for the township, which is 101 coming up here next, we had that computer that was approved last year. You're gonna see that 1,500. Our scanning is that 5,354. So we did get some of that scanning paid for, a good chunk of that paid for just getting some of our content digitized. And then the April through June payment is that 24,000 there for Mavis, the berry there. Other than that, again, the rest of it should look pretty normal overall. 45,920. Again, that big one was for the rent. So, questions?
No, I'll make a motion.
All right.
These bills are submitted.
Second?
Oh, that was you. Okay.
Didn't you just say?
I
I said, do you want to make a motion? I guess I did.
I totally thought you did too.
Okay, I did, and you seconded it, right? Okay, are there any questions or comments from the board?
Great motion, Bobby.
If not, Laura, would you take a roll call vote?
Yes. Okay. Janelle Keller,
Yes.
Jim Christopher,
Yes.
Gina Mazzarelli,
Yes.
Robert DePalma.
Yes. Okay. Next is the investment reports. Teresa's not here, but she gives us the same kind of report every month. They're outstanding, and the numbers all look great. It's just under 9.5 million, so township coffers are in good shape until we pay for a couple of things down the road. Following that is, there's nothing on the agenda tonight for presentations, nothing for public hearings, and nothing under unfinished business. So we'll move right to the new business, and we need to discuss the fire millage, because for those who don't know, the fire millage expired with the last December property tax bill. And so in the budget session, we had discussed and said that we were gonna put a 10-year fire budget out this time, and do it the way we've typically done the budgets in the past, which is a 3.5 mil cap, but we will bill the 2024 winter bill at 5 mil cap, and we'll bill the 2024 bill this fall at 3.5 mils like we usually do. So that's basically what's in there. I think the only changes on the ballot language that you submitted here, we had the last tweaks that the tax appeal board gets, where the total SEV of the township that goes into the calculation to state how much money it is. Well, it's a little bit bigger because all that stuff gets tallied up after, so it's a few bucks bigger, and we have to adjust it for that corrected total. So anything else you think needs to be in there?
No, that was the biggest thing. That's gonna be really close. We made some phone calls today, but I'm pretty sure everybody was out looking at the eclipse. So, but it'll probably be pretty close to that. But other than that, just that figure, which is really just an estimated revenue anyway.
Yeah.
But so that number will be tweaked a little bit on the official ballot language, but we just need to confirm that number.
So then this is still gotta get sent to the
And then I will
county.
send that down to the
Then I
county.
give it to
Mhm.
finance.
Janelle, what was that number?
This is $986,083.39.
And that number was based on when we were talking about budget, right? And now we've got after the,
More corrected.
Board of Review, it's the corrected budget is
Yes,
substantially higher than what we had
yes.
thought it was.
So, the big question that we were trying to confirm is what, so we have the ad valorem, and we were trying to confirm whether or not the,
State.
yes, the DNR special assessments are included in that number as well.
Okay.
And that is what we weren't able to confirm before this evening, so that's why that number could shift a little bit, but it's gonna be around there.
And it'll shift up.
That's because, you know, the DNR is
It's-
the only people in the whole township that get to tell us how much their property is worth.
It changes all the time.
Yeah, it's an estimate as it is, you know, it's not gonna say this is exactly how many dimes you're
It's
gonna.
just a good starting number.
Right.
And it doesn't matter, cause you can't peel it anyway.
Okay.
Okay. I saw something today in a newsletter that we got from state or somebody about the, total amount of PILT money that's in the state and how many acres it was. And if I remember correctly, it's the average price of the land they own at about $1,000 an acre.
I saw, Bob, that the commercial on YouTube says that Oakland County got $3 billion from Biden. I was wondering what our cut was on that.
$3 billion for what?
It just said that's how much we got from the.
Oh, maybe they're thinking of the ARPA money
ARPA
that
funds,
already
maybe?
came in?
I don't know, but it says we got $3 billion from
That
that.
probably is about right.
Well, there's a county meeting coming up in April that I had Danielle give me a ticket to that's gonna have a bunch of developers there, so maybe I'll hear something else there, I don't know. I haven't heard any 3 million, I heard 20 million, whatever it is. Okay, so, any questions on the fire village? Okay, if not, then I guess, do you want a motion from us to approve submitting this to the county?
Yeah, because we need to complete it as a resolution.
That was a question.
I got it.
So I would motion that we would approve resolution 2024-007 with the updated estimated revenue figure.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions or comments from the board? If not, Laura, would you take a roll call on it, because it is a millage issue that come up on vote?
Yep, Jim Christopher,
Yes.
Gina Mazzarelli,
Yes.
Robert DePalma.
Yes.
Janelle Keller.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. Next item is the road commission dust control. You know, we have this, you should have the package from them, you know, they did raise the chloride this year, about $7,000 I think it is
Yep.
roughly, which is quite a bit, and if you notice, just like the 911 calls for you guys and,
Everything went up.
and the charge they have for the communities that use the deputies, they all went up, and they all seem to have gone up more than the inflation index. So apparently they're trying to make sure that we don't get inflation under control. And we've become a constant topic among the supervisors is that everything north of M59 is becoming a donor community. But be that as it may, the decision today is, do you want me to let David Cernowski know that we want to do the chloride in 4 or 5 applications? We've always done 5. Part of that is because it's coordinated with the communities around us, so the borderline roads in Independence, Holly, and Brandon all have to be, you know, it's kind of hard to do half a road to 4 and the other half to 5. Gotcha.
Again, these are always the secondary roads that you're talking about, not the
Yeah.
primaries.
No, the primaries are.
I just want that noted. That
Yeah,
it's-
the primary is automatically done by the county, so we never do those.
And they do
And
5
obviously
on
paved
there.
roads don't get done now. But the secondary roads are the ones we do, and we do pick up the full cost for the residents. Not all communities do, but we do. But in the past, you know, this is a hard thing to decide, because you never make everybody happy. You get somebody that's, you can think of 1 or 2 that don't want the chloride on the road because my car's dirty all the time. And then they go, where do you live? And I said, that's why I bought a house on a paved road, and there were only 2 when I moved out here, so. If you don't, the other people that are on the roads, cause some of them have higher sand content, like Glass Road, and if you put the chloride down on those 4 times, they turn into a dust bowl right away, so. We've had this discussion numerous times, I'm willing to entertain anything you wanna ask, but consistently, we've opted for 5. When we do 4, we get people complaining it gets too dusty in the middle.
I think, I'm all for 5, but part of that is when we had the gentleman from the road commission come out here last fall to explain all these to us, he said, if you reach out to them by email, they will try and work with that road. You know, and then of course, whether, they can give you dates, but then weather might change that date.
They actually
So-
post the dates they're intend to chloride on their website, but if it rains all of a sudden, then they gotta move it off, cause
Sure.
you
But-
can't spread chloride in a heavy rain.
Right,
But you
but
can't have a light rain.
there is an option to communicate with the road commission, and they will work, you know, they will work with the residents on those roads, so that would be my, because what I will say, based on sitting here for a few years now, is we have a lot less who don't complain.
Yes, we have
So I would be,
1 or 2 that do it.
I would
every year.
want to, accommodate the majority, as we should.
I agree. Okay, so does someone wanna make a motion then, that we, sign with the county for chloriding? It's a question again. Sign with the county for chloriding the road with 5 applications this year?
Yes, I will make a motion that we sign on with the road commission of Oakland County to do 5 chloride road applications during the season.
Is there a second to that?
Don't you need
I
the
will
cost
second it.
on that?
Pardon me?
Don't you need the cost for doing that? When you,
Well, it's in here, it's 78,000
I mean, for the record here.
Sure.
Well,
And, 5 application program is $78,872.40.
And then we do, under our contract, have the Hall Road done, but Bedrock pays us back for that,
Okay.
just so it doesn't.
And
go
that
dust
is
on
an
the
additional
freeway.
$904 even.
Yeah.
Sorry, Laura, do I need to?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
And I will, okay, is there a second to that motion?
I did.
I think Jim did.
Jim,
Mhm.
okay. Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, if not, could we take a roll call on that, Laura, because it is for a lot of money?
Robert DiPalma,
Yes,
Janelle Keller,
Yes.
Jim Christopher,
Yes.
Gina
Okay.
Mazzarelli.
very good. I will, I'll send a letter out to the road commission, tomorrow, and I'll make sure Barry knows he's, gonna get the chloride for the Hall Road. So that's, okay. Next item is discuss the West Nile virus control. Looks like the money, to me, looks like the same thing that we typically did. It's, you know, ironically, everybody looks forward to this, right?
Yeah.
As soon as it gets warm, they ask us to bug spray.
Is bug
in.
spray in?
Every year. It looks like we're getting $2,576.64, so,
What was it last year, Laura? Do you remember?
I
It's
swear I was
actually
thinking
pretty
that.
close.
About the same.
I think we were, $10 difference, if that.
Oh, the price went up though.
The price did go up,
Yeah.
but I got to add it different things. I got to juggle a couple things around, so.
Yeah, you made the list for us,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm. So,
I see wristbands.
yeah,
Yes.
isn't that fun?
Mhm.
And actually, the pond ducks are a little bit different how they're packaged this time, so.
Those actually work very good. I get them every year for my
Yeah.
pond in the back pasture.
And we
It
have a lot
keeps
of
the
people
mosquitoes
interested.
way down.
So we should be able to provide more, you know, cause those go pretty quickly. So smaller packaging, but should be able to provide more to people, so.
Okay.
And then there is the difference, so just so you know, it looks like we have the $2,561.26 that they're allocating, with our estimates and going through ACE, it'll end up costing the township about $15.38 over,
We can handle
so
that.
they would be approving that as well, so.
Okay, so I think we need a motion to approve the West Nile virus program as outlined, and, I assume
Resolution.
they can be the,
Yep,
coordinator.
right here on that 2024-008.
And
So I'll motion, you want me to motion? Was that a
Please.
question or was that a motion on?
You're reading my mind.
He's not gonna motion himself, I don't think.
So I would motion that we pass resolution 2024-008 to participate in the West Nile virus program this year, and pay the additional monies up to $15.38.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Gina? Okay, any questions or comments from the board? Laura, would you take a roll call?
Gina Mazzarella,
Yes.
Robert DePalma,
Yes.
Janelle Keller,
Yes?
Jim Christopher.
Yes.
And Laura, can I ask you to send a copy of the resolution when it's done to Whitney so that she's got it for her?
Oh,
So,
sure.
thank you. Okay, moving on to miscellaneous, we're cruising tonight. First item is Holly Area Youth Assistance.
So the last minutes that I have here are from February 12th. And I'm gonna have to try to figure out a better way to do this because as it is, they don't send their minutes out until about 2 days before the next meeting. So their minutes from March are not going to come out for another few days after today. So their next meeting is next Monday, which means they'll probably get them all on on Friday. So this is a couple months off, but this is where we're at right now. So they had 13 new cases for January. They did announce there is an Oakland County Youth Business Grant, which I thought sounded really cool. For ages 8 to 18, it's called Acorn to Oak. It's up to $1,000. Again, that's for a youth business grant. Autism awareness is going on. You're gonna see the little pinwheels all over on probably all the schools and certainly outside right here. Highlights here, they did some budgeting. They're figuring out just meeting logistics right now. And they have a couple of $1,000 scholarships that they're being offered again from HIA. And other than that, that is probably the biggest thing. Just some dates to be aware of. On May 10th, they have the Holly Awards ceremony. They will do the Memorial Day Parade again on the 27th. And then they have a team block party coming up on June 7th. So that is HIA. Any questions?
No.
I probably can't answer them because
Thank
I was
you.
not there, but I can do my best.
You wanna roll with the next one, Brandon Groveland Youth?
Brandon Groveland Youth, what I can tell you is their reception is coming up on the 26th.
Yeah.
Does that sound right? It's on a Thursday evening, whatever that is.
Recognition, yeah.
Yes, their youth recognition evening, so I know that Teresa has been busy working on that. Teresa and Angela both have been working on those. We just got the certificates all
Yeah, I
completed.
know, I screwed up a bunch of her certificates, I didn't know she was printing them.
Yes.
So I have some miscellaneous emails that are really nice.
Really nice paper, really nice paper. So, yeah, that's all that I am aware of with BGYA. I know that that's the big thing right now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Jim, Planning Commission?
Planning Commission met on the 26th of March. Jeff was absent recuperating, and I will tell you that Neil Laughlin did a very good job being a substitute chairperson. Kind of interesting, for the first time in recent history, the Renaissance Festival came in, as far as I'm concerned, way ahead of time, asking for their special use permit.
He has been in the office, just so you know, several times, talking to Danielle and I had suggested to him, because, you know, we're both concerned, the I-75 road is all the way through to October, and then next year, all the way through to October again on the opposite side. And so he said the only thing he could think to do was take the signs that tell you when you're coming south on Dixie, to post them all the way back into Grand Blanc so that people know to get over to the right-hand lane.
Yes, sir.
And I said, that's a great idea, why don't you send that to the MDOT engineer? Tell him that's the only thing you can think of and ask him if he's got anything else so that before we get to the final meeting, if he's got some ideas, you guys have time to try and vet it out, but he did that. And Chip's been very good at being proactive on this. I think that's the reason it got fixed last year, I really do. To my surprise, think a lot of it had to do with Chip's ability to get stuff done.
I agree, and to everybody out there, you know, for years past, it's been, I don't know how to be politically correct, it's been so bad and so
And I
inattentive.
think the word is it sucked.
Well, okay, in any event, this is a pleasure to see, and I truly believe that Chip Schultz is really trying to
Yes.
do the right thing and honor what he says he's gonna do.
Yep, he does, he follows through very well.
Yeah. There was one other thing that we did in the planning commission, and the public hearing regarding revisions to ordinances and the zoning ordinance. And that was in light of, we had some errors in the ordinance by the planner. So we reverted back a little bit, and when I say a little bit, it's just one or two ordinances until we can get the new ordinances proofread again.
Just so you know, today I talked to Danielle because she said the next PC meeting's probably postponed till the week after.
It is, the 30th now.
And on that one, I had, she and I had earlier put together some list of who the townships around us are utilizing and a couple of RFPs. And so she's gonna bring it to you at that board meeting to see if that's what you want, so that we can start, finally get the process on
Yeah,
the table.
and because of what I do, there's somebody else I'd like to see included because they're top drawer.
Okay,
if they're
good,
not on
good.
this.
And that's the whole purpose. The next meeting is to see if you guys like
You know,
what we put together for you to look at, and if you wanna add something else before we do it, so everybody's got buy-in to it.
got it. That's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Okay, Gina, anything on BZA?
No meetings scheduled, and a educational event that planning and BZ are going to, together on the 29th of this month. Actually has a lot to do with zoning, ordinances,
Okay,
but that's
good.
it.
Thank you. For supervisor, I have a meeting coming up here this month with the Detroit Regional Center. That's the group that tries to market parcels for the whole Detroit metropolitan area. And I've been working with them about the tech park property. And so they asked, can we come back out and get an update on it, because, we're getting ready to launch on our project. So they're gonna come in, we'll have it listed with them. We have all the zoning in place, and we have, most of it done. I'm putting the finishing touches on the package to go over with the board to see if we can agree on the name and the support personnel we want to use for it, and which method we want to go forward with first. So that's all coming up. I've been continuing to talk to economic development, who's been working with us for 4 years, and Dominic swears to me. We had 2 more meetings, Bob, and everybody is a go for giving you guys the grant for the marketing money on the property. But he said we have to figure out what vehicle we use in the county to get it to you. So I expect to hear shortly that we think we have the money we need for the marketing part. We'll be ready to go to bid then for the stuff we wanna do. If you haven't been out to the site, I stopped by today. All of the footings are in for the building. I think, I didn't get out and go over there, but I think most of the piping is in the ground. It should be by now. And they're laying block. So the block walls that are on it are getting laid right down there. 4 or 5 vehicles with guys there that were working on it. So it's finally moving along pretty good now. And I'll get the proposal for the park just about done. Angela's done a nice job of putting it together for me. I need one more bit of information to come from Will after a meeting I had with him.
No has.
Oh yeah, what about?
Let them know that it's
Oh.
April 27th.
Oh, okay, the next no has day is April 27th, yeah. If you don't know, they post these on the website too, cause it's pretty popular. And of course, we still take the batteries here for people that wanna drop them off here. Okay, thanks, Gina. So that's basically what I had on the supervisor's report right now. Oh, and one other item, thank you, for reminding me. I have been the township elected official on the solid waste committee for, I think, 30 years, okay? Before they made trash. And they're now replacing the solid waste committee with what they're calling, through Eagle, a recycling effort, because obviously the preference is to promote recycling. It's been for some time, but they're changing the name and the composition of the group slightly. But it still has room for 1 township elected official. And so I had submitted my name, like I have for the past 30 years, and honestly, I don't think anybody in any township has as much experience on the committee as I do. So I think they were going to have me go to an interview last week, even though it's kind of a slam dunk. Bob Hoffman, our county commissioner, said, the ones that just have one person on it, they're just gonna have you come in and talk to you, but, you know, there's nobody else that wants it. You don't get paid anything for it anyway. But then, since I had decided not to run, I thought, maybe I shouldn't go there because it's supposed to be for 5 years. So, I'm not on it, but they sent out a memo here that, Janelle just gave me that said they're interested if anybody wants it, and you have to be an elected official in a township, and there's only one on the board. And I would say the value in getting on that board is the same reason I got on it when Ruth asked me 30 years ago, and that is, at that time, the Solid Waste Committee cited all the garbage landfills. And you know, we've had 4 attempts out here that I've stopped, okay? And that's how you get to be an expert at it. And I would suggest that what I think is happening is the move in the state is to have Eagle take over the structure of this board to try and focus it on recycling. And then I think what you're gonna see is the recycling efforts and whether they need another landfill or not will probably end up going in some version through that committee again. So since there's only one township individual that's allowed on it, I think it's really important for us to have one there, because when they get ready to cite things like landfills, they don't go to Troy or you know, Royal Oak or Bloomfield Hills to put them in. They come out to a small community like us, and then they try and jam it down your throat, okay? Because they figure if I gotta tick somebody off, let's just tick off a couple thousand people, right? So I would strongly suggest that one of us consider, I hate to lay that on you, but
Look at that.
Teresa's not here.
we could do it to Teresa in absence of that. It's like, you
I
know,
nominate.
you were gone, you're in the army now. I honestly think this, it's not a whole lot of work, really. I'd be surprised if it is, because Whitney Callio, who does the NOHAS stuff, she's top notch. She's kind of orchestrating the whole thing. If I had to guess, there might be a couple of meetings a year you have to go to, but it's the best way to keep your ear to the ground and know what's happening, because when I first got on it, I could tell you it was Ruth and I talking to Roger Smith, the guy who was the head of the Solid Waste Committee, that kind of was on our side and made sure that the landfill that was gonna go behind Mount Holly didn't get through, okay? And then the other 3 attempts, you know, was the Stablix one, which the whole community spent almost $500,000 fighting, and then there were 2 attempts on Stollerock's property that he tried to convince me would be a good thing to do. And so I think it's very important to be there, because we're a small community. It's easy for people to jam stuff down our throat in their mind. And if you wanna fight it, it's very expensive, so it's better to be on at the beginning stages to be able to do that. It's no money, and if it's like the Solid Waste Committee was, the meetings used to be on Thursday evening at about 9 or 10 o'clock, so it's a good way to ruin an evening. But that's the only way you can.
I know, I wondered that.
Why
too.
5 years when terms are 4 years?
I have no idea. Well, because the rest of the people on the committee, for the most part, a lot of them are not elected.
Oh, they're probably.
If you
5
look at the
years in
list,
general.
there used to be 14 people on it. Now I think it's 11. And the small township, or the township representative is the same one. But most of those other ones come from the waste industry, okay? So they wanna make sure that they have their fair say in what's going on. And after you go to these couple times, you know, I mean, I'm sure it would be like me with Whitney. Everybody down there at the county that has anything to do with it knows me, just like the road commission. So that goes a long way in helping you later when you're trying to get something done. You don't get paid for those things, but they're very beneficial connections to have. So I honestly do think this would be a great thing to be on. I do not believe it will end up being a lot of time, honestly. Bob Hoffman and I used to joke the last couple of years, we had one meeting in the last 4 years, didn't we? But that means nothing's really stirring when that happens. So when they get going on this, there may be a couple, but they'll probably be very informative. And if it improves recycling efforts, that's a good thing. And if you happen to find out somebody decided they needed to put a new 150-acre landfill in Groveland Township, that's another good thing to know right away.
Yeah.
Because they're much easier to stop, I think, at the beginning. So, with that, she was good enough to print this, I'll defer to her in case she doesn't want to use this to try and get in on it.
I'll put that right here, but either
And I
of you
think
are-
Bob Hoffman's
Don't
going
get
to,
that.
I think Bob Hoffman is going to get back on it. And last time, he was the chairman and I was the vice chairman. So if he is, since he's our county commissioner, you know, he'll keep you up to snuff on what's going on. Okay, that's all I had, I'm sorry. Now we need clerk's report?
Sure, few things, but nothing too exciting here. Basic Institute, so I attended a couple weeks ago, thank you all very much for supporting me for that, so just kind of a recap, that is a 3-year program, so I've now finished year 2, which just moves me toward that certification, so that's exciting, was able to take away a lot of great nuggets that I'm hoping that we can implement here and use here in the community.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you very much. Our handyman has been hard at work, so if you've checked around the building, you're seeing some minor changes here and
We
there.
got lights.
We have some phenomenal lights outside and inside, so some of these have been replaced. I think these ones may be already good to go, but we've had emergency lights that we needed replaced and painted around. The outside lights, if you recall, maybe the last few months, as you came in, they were nice and yellowy brown.
And half of them are dark
Or
now.
dark, maybe just black.
And they're hard to get bulbs for too.
So just a lot of little projects here and there to kind of spruce things up. So he's been doing a great job. We still have that election coming up in May, but once again, we are consolidating with Goodrich, so they will be taking our voters. If you are a Goodrich voter here in Groveland Township, just so you know, you'll be receiving a letter in the mail just to indicate where you would vote in person. If you are on that permanent ballot list, those already did go out for you, and you all would be voting at the Goodrich High School. So that's coming up, definitely a much more low-key election than all the rest of them this year, but that's happening. We've had filing paperwork coming in and out. I did receive, I just wanted to kind of let everybody know here, you may or may not want to look at it, but we have a really nice thank you letter. If you recall, last month we approved that $1,000 contribution to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, the walk that's over at High School. Just a really nice letter that came in as a thank you, so if anybody's interested in reading that, I did bring that. And then just some really, really exciting news that I happened to get and I thought I'd share in case anybody's missed it. There is a very large recall for cinnamon. And since we don't have a whole lot of major grocery stores in the area, but we do have Dollar Trees and Family Dollars around. Many of them were found at those locations, but it is lead, very high levels of lead. So I'm gonna have this, I'll keep it out here and we'll probably toss it just random, but you know, trying to keep you guys all safe. Sure.
Just the dollar stores?
It's a number of different brands, so not necessarily, but it did show that they definitely could be found there. It's La Fiesta brand, Markham, MK, Swad, Supreme
We're talking about like the
Tradition. Ground
cinnamon you buy to
cinnamon.
sprinkle on toast and stuff.
Yep. So, I just happened to receive this as a, immediate release today.
Or put the little cinnamon cookies in the
Pardon?
break room.
Kirkland brand was not on?
I do not see Kirkland brand on here.
Whoever put the little cinnamon cookies in the break room, that's not on, right?
I don't know, Bob, I didn't eat any.
I ate most of them.
Made with love.
So, yes, so that's really, I don't
And
have a
other
whole lot. You know, little bits and pieces, but that's all I have today.
Okay, thank you. Well, Teresa's not here, so we'll get her a report next time, but stuff's in good shape. Okay, that concludes the regular part of the meeting, so I'll open it up to public comment. Is there anybody that has any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, I'm gonna move that we adjourn and reconvene for the fire board meeting.
Support.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned and reconvened, and Chief, the meeting is yours.
This might be the first time mine lasts longer than yours.
I just want to talk about, the Eagle has not gotten back with us.
Pardon me?
Eagle has not gotten back with us last week or this week.
Thank you for checking. Is there someone you can twist the arm
I'm
on?
gonna send a letter.
Okay, thank
Hey,
you.
Dave, just
If you
one second.
CC me, I love it.
I'll go over this so just so you can leave.
That's-
We're gonna have an open house, and I'd like to invite all the prospective people for, going up for the election this year. So I don't know what month would be good for everybody. So if you tell me what month.
Before November.
It'll probably be best. But I also like to invite you to that too, if you wanna come and, meet and greet people.
Sure.
And,
I like
so,
going through your, I use your station all the time, so.
I know, but this time people will actually show up hopefully. And, but we're gonna do it at Station 2. We'll bring out the big trucks and, you make a, day of it. I know kids love coming and seeing all that stuff, so, but I'll get with you and whoever's running and seeing what's a good date and, hopefully before November. And when
Well,
it's
would
nice
you wanna
weather.
do it before the
I was gonna say
primary?
maybe before
Yeah,
August.
Do it before August.
Yeah, so I'll get with Teresa and primarily Janelle just to see what they think is the best date, and then I'll let everybody else know. That's all I want to let you know,
I
Dave.
think, I tell you, the reason I asked Dave is, maybe I should mention this, probably I should have done it in my report.
He'll be here the 26th.
There's a program that Eagle is putting on to promote these large storage capacity batteries that are starting to show up all over the country. And we have a battery manufacturer that has taken an option out on a piece of property to put them in. And the one-time permit fee from the battery supplier is $600,000 for the township. And in addition to that, Eagle put together a promotion to try and promote these things, and I actually think they're a good idea. That pays up to $1.5 million. So I'm trying to figure out how to get in on their application, but I wanted some information, and so tomorrow,
3 o'clock, right?
yeah, you and I, is it 2 or 3?
I think it's 3.
You and I are gonna meet with the people from Vesper to talk about the site they have, cause I told them one of the concerns I had was I wanted to make sure the fire department knew what they had to do. But basically, there's this great big.
How much water do you have?
Don't use any on it.
Nobody has enough
Yeah.
water.
And this piece of property that they've got the option on is 62 acres of wooded property, nobody lives on it, and they're clearing about 10 acres in the middle to put stuff in, so. It's actually a good idea. This eliminates power companies having to build a new power plant, which takes years to get approved and built, because there's so much electrical need. And out here is a good example where we don't have any juice.
It's just a big UPS is what
Yeah,
it is.
it is. It's a giant battery for a cell phone.
And Dave will be at
Yes.
the township.
22nd,
Yes.
you're here, right?
Whatever the day was you asked.
Yes.
Three?
Yes.
3?
3 to 4.
Yeah, there's, 3 office hours that day, yes.
Okay, yeah, and we have it up on the sign out here, we've got it up on the desk, the table there, so.
Super.
Come
Okay,
visit.
thank you, Dave.
Yeah,
I'll
come
wait
visit.
with bated breath to hear if they ever get back to us.
I know.
Thank you.
Oh, just so you know, I don't know if it got signed by the governor, but they took away the public commissions that used to review everything that Eagle did, appeals and regulations and so forth. So Eagle's got a free reign on everything now.
Mm.
Wow, that's kind
And
of
then I heard
scary.
that you said that Eagle wants to take over the county solid waste. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to fight that stuff.
I know, it's gonna make it very difficult, cause even doing it when it was in the county, took a lot of finagling to stop. Stopping 4 landfills out here was not easy. You know, it's like you got a big bullseye on your back and everybody wants to do it, so. We'll see what happens. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Okay, chief.
We ended up with 61 calls for March. Oh, by the way, the reason you don't have your paperwork is both my desktop and my laptop crashed today. That brought us to 260 calls at the end of March. It's been real slow. We're only got 9 calls so far this month, so it's been pretty slow. I'd like a motion to hire Jennifer Hoogerhide into the auxiliary. We're not calling it the CERT team anymore because when we looked it up, there's a lot of training they had to do, and we just wanted an auxiliary just to bring us food and drinks and whatnot. So we switched to auxiliary. So we have Angie Adderholt on it and Jennifer Hoogerhide, and we're moving Megan Adderholt from a cadet to the auxiliary because she's actually hurting our numbers because she has no training for the county. So I'd like a motion to hire Jennifer Hoogerheide as onto the auxiliary.
Okay.
I have to make a motion that we hire Jennifer to the auxiliary, team for the fire department.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions or comments from the board? If not, Laura, please take a roll call.
Janelle Keller,
Yes.
Jim Christopher,
Yes.
Gina Mazzarelli,
Yes.
Robert DePalma.
Yes.
Thank you. Tanker 2, yesterday we started up and fuel started pouring out. We've had a problem with the lift pump, it's been leaking. We took it to Barry's about a year and a half ago, I think, and they looked at it and they said, this is a lot of work to fix this. And it's just hard to get to. So we called them today, don't quote me on the names and everything, I think it's Chad. His wife just had a baby, so he's not gonna be in for a couple weeks, but he called us today, he's gonna have his partner Nick look at it. He couldn't give me an estimate, I just said, I need to get it fixed, so we dropped it off there yesterday, it's gonna be at least a couple weeks, so I'm expecting probably $3 grand to fix it, but who knows what it's gonna cost, everything on diesels costs, you know, outrageous amount.
Well, see, the president's gonna fix it, he's gonna outlaw diesels.
So, that truck's only got, I think, 8,700 miles on it, so it's, what was that, 2005, we got that, 2000?
Yeah,
Something like that, so it's got a lot of miles still to go, so.
Maybe if something hit the line or something?
No, it's just, we don't, nothing could have hit it, I mean, it's,
Let's do
the lift
shielded.
pump is way up in there, so you know, the
Okay.
seals dry out and everything, so it could be the pump or the line, we don't know, but, so we dropped that off today to have it fixed. Like I said, both of my computers crashed this morning, and, I don't know if we're gonna have to, if I can get it repaired, I'll have Jeff try and work on it Friday, see if he can get it to boot up, but I probably rebooted it, I don't know, 6 times a day, it won't boot. I went over the open house already. April 20th, at the Holly High School, they're having a suicide prevention, meeting, I guess. And we're gonna bring the ladder over with set up the flag. We did ask the village if that's okay, they said, yeah, their ladder's junk, so they'd appreciate us doing it, and we told, Knoxville also, not that it's in their area, we just let them know that we're gonna do it. So, Russ is gonna bring it over there and set it up, he brought it over there Sunday just to check for clearances and things. So, I think that would be good representation for us. We got some joint trainings coming up with NACFA, we're gonna do a training for like cutting through a roof and, using their saw and whatnot. And then the Holly Village, they're gonna tear the Carl Richter Center down, so on Saturday, I don't remember what day it is, but we've got some people gonna go there
Building.
and they're gonna do, you know, like breaches and things like that. They don't want us to burn any of it, but we'll get some training on breaching walls and things like that. And then, Stacy's out at fire inspector training up at, Soaring Eagle. She left tonight. So she will be gone the rest of the week, you know.
She got any money?
She always finds these places, you know. She's probably meeting Sandy up there.
We could have been up there.
Other than that,
All right, I'm dying to ask, have you heard any more about the, NACFA management change?
no, haven't heard of that.
Nothing, okay.
Haven't asked and haven't looked into it.
Maybe I'll call
I
George.
was curious about that.
Yeah.
And I have 2 other items here. You gave me some prices on a couple of trucks, cause the Chief's car is pretty well dead.
I haven't driven that in like a year and a half. It's just
Yeah.
sitting in my yard.
And-
The alternator shot, I did buy a new alternator, but I haven't put it in yet.
But it don't seem to matter, whatever we put in, it dies a couple days later anyway. I'm gonna make this suggestion now, it's up to the board. We had a good year this year, I think better than I expected frankly, because of SCB and stuff was up. I would suggest that we buy the replacement vehicle for the Chiefs. And you got 2 prices here on the truck, but which one of these, are they equipped differently? Or are they equipped the same?
I spec'd it out, I just said Ford, Ram, or Chevy.
These look like I think they're both Fords, aren't they?
No, they're all 3.
I didn't give them one of the both.
Oh.
Oh, okay. No, well, the Ram was the most expensive.
Yeah, the
Oh,
Ram
I
was most,
see, 2 of these are from one dealer for 2 different cars,
Yeah.
okay.
so, we've had pretty good luck lately with Chevys. So, that was, if you ask me, I'd say a Chevy, although I wouldn't expect it before I retire anyway, but
Is that the one from LaFontaine?
I could be, Bob, I don't remember, but they're all right around 60 grand for it's a dual cab or crew
Well,
cab,
that one's 54.3.
whatever, but we wanted a red one and we wanted gasoline and I think we put 6.5 foot bed or 6 foot bed, I don't remember. We don't really need it for a brush truck, which is one of the options. We really just need a truck to haul hose back from the fire scene, and we did get the truck from the DNR, and we currently have the brush rig in that one, and we have the salt rig in the other one.
And then this one's
But,
63.
You know,
Do
it's
the lights work?
now, if you remember the last time we used it, when we had that fire, John had to stick his flashlight out the window to see down the road because the alternator went out.
Out of these bids, the 54.3 is the lowest one, so and that's the silver, right, it's the Silverado, I'm sorry.
So that
Yeah.
should.
It should be a 2500, that's what.
It is 2,500 four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
So, is this truck in stock, or do you have to?
I do not know that. I just had Fortenberry ask his buddies.
You think it was?
Couple fire station when you're there, for example, at Groveland Township, 13318, 13318, the highway map section 18, responding for a 7-year-old female, possibly having a stroke, she's constantly breathing,
I gotta get going, but,
Okay,
and that's all I had, thank you. Question.
all right, quick, do we wanna get the truck?
Absolutely, we talked about this
Okay.
during the budget meeting too.
I'll make a motion that we approve up to $55,000 for a new Chevy truck for the fire chief. Replace that piece of junk that they call a car.
Second.
Any other questions or comments from the board? If not, Laura, please take a roll call.
Jim Christopher,
Yes.
Gina Mazzarelli,
Yes.
Robert DePalma,
Yes?
Janelle Keller.
Yes.
Okay, we can take that out of cash reserves. Okay, chief.
Can I just, do we wanna just get the chief's car running and try and sell it? 'Cause I'll
Don't give him an warranty on it.
keep, yeah, no warrant.
Is anybody interested in the car?
And you can have the chicken foot with the feathers to shake hands.
As is.
The last time I tried to drive it, it caught on fire, because the belt smoked.
Yeah, the time before that, I thought the brakes locked up or something, didn't they?
It's always been something, then the ignitions,
I'm
Ignition
surprised,
system went
because the
out.
car still looks good, but it has been
except the trunk is all
plagued with
rusted out.
problems.
Yeah.
Okay, chief, thank you.
Thank you.
That's it?
Yeah.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to
Hey,
adjourn.
guys,
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any questions from the audience? Speak up, Dave.
Any excitement back there?
If not,
Goodbye and good night.
all in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Good to be in church, right?